That's what I sleep on. That's my pillow. And I try, I'm gonna use my hand here, I try when I'm sleeping and my head's over here, I put my hand under this like this so nobody steals my bag. People get robbed at homeless shelters all the time. Some of the things that homeless people do is they take their money, they put it in deli bags that you get from like Giant Eagle and Walmart. That way, if somebody's actually feeling for your wallet and you have your money in a bag that's folded, they won't feel that as much. That was something an old gentleman had told me at the shelter the other night. He said, that's how I never get robbed. You think I'm making this all up? Well, there are homeless people who are actually watching my channel, and I'm sure they can verify some of the stuff that I'm saying. I'm not making this up. But there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 8 physical altercations between homeless people that ended up almost getting, you know, into fights. There have been 1, 2, 4 fights that I know of. One person was arrested last night by the cops. He was tased by the police officer. It was a brutal fight. It was a brutal fight. As I said, you know, I would expect this kind of treatment and scenery in a jail, you know, county jail, prison, penitentiary, not in a homeless shelter. It was the last thing I actually expected. And it turns out that homeless shelters are very violent. Now, the new rule that they're having in place is only the Pittsburgh Fire Department only wants 105 capacity limit in the shelters. We have well over that each night, even when it's warm like this, like now. So I don't know how that's going to work out for the rest of the homeless people. But that's okay. So let's break it down. What I'm trying to tell you is there's 106 people, let's say, in, I don't know how many shelters there are in Pittsburgh for homeless people. I honestly don't know. But let's say there's 10 shelters. Maybe that's almost 1,000 people. There's thousands of homeless people in Pittsburgh. I don't know the precise number, but based on what I've already told you and how these homeless shelters operate, this is one of the main reasons why homeless people don't like to go to shelters, is because they don't feel safe. Even with a cop there, they still don't feel safe. That's horrifying to me. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I have witnessed things inside these homeless shelters that just are completely insane. It's just it's crazy. A lot of times you're standing in line because you have to check in every night. You know, they give you stand in this hallway with your bag or whatever it is that you have, and you give them your name. When you get up to be registered, in the meantime, you can smell alcohol on people. I mean, you can tell they're on drugs. Their eyes are just all lit up. The drugs and the alcohol in homeless shelters is astonishing. But what really gets me is a lot of these people who start these fights in these shelters, they're back the very next night. They don't even kick them out. You know, if it was a normal, like if I went into a coffee shop and I started wailing on a guy, the police would arrest me and throw me in jail, and I wouldn't be allowed back in that place no more. Not in a homeless shelter. It's like these people are immune from the law. I don't give a fuck if you're sleeping out in this public yard right here, okay? Homeless people are not above the law. Do you hear me? Homeless people are not above the law. I have to obey the laws just like everybody else. I don't rob people, I don't hurt people, I don't do any kind of bodily harm or physical altercation with people. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I mind my own business. So something I learned very early on, like everywhere else, and especially in a homeless shelter, you keep your mouth shut and you just shut up. And you just do what you need to do, and you pack up your shit in the morning and leave. Because most homeless shelters open up at like 6, and they kick you out by 6:30 in the evening. Or 6 in the evening till like 6:30 in the morning. Most homeless shelters empty out at 6:30. You're back out in the street. I'm talking about the places where you have to sleep. Now, there are homeless shelters open during the day. I don't know what they're like. I don't go in them. So now, what I'm saying and what I'm revealing to you, I don't know what it's like, so don't ask me, because obviously I wouldn't know. I don't know what it's like for women in women's shelters. I have no idea. Never been in one, obviously. And because a lot of them also have their kids with them. Hopefully some female around here will make a video and explain that to you. I have no idea. So one of the greatest threats for a homeless person is going into a shelter, because he fears for his life, he fears for what little possessions he has. And like I said, a lot of homeless people do have, you know, Kindle Fires or iPads. They do, you know, phones. Actually, a lot of homeless people have phones. I don't know how good, you know, I mean, they're probably not the phones you guys are using, but they're phones. Because, believe it or not, some homeless people do look for work. Most of them don't. I can verify that right now. Most of the people that I have stayed with in shelters, I see them just sitting on the street doing nothing. One of the big, I don't know if I should say this, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's only one of the streets. One of the main streets for homeless people to do their business, panhandling and whatever else that they engage in, is Smithfield Street. And you'll see a lot of homeless people up there, and you'll see a lot of homeless people on the north side too, but it's usually, you know, during the day, because after the rough night that they've had in the shelters. But what really horrifies me the most is how they're allowed back in. These people, there are some really aggressive people in these shelters, and a lot of the older people, I'm talking people 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, take a lot of abuse from younger people. Physical abuse, verbal abuse. A lot of the young guys starting to beat up the old guys. I mean, it's insane. It's like prison. It's just like it. Only it's a homeless shelter. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to give you the vision that it's like Alcatraz, okay, or San Quentin, but God Almighty, what I have already seen in there convinces me that, you know, I'd rather sleep in a public restroom somewhere, like a bus station. It's just, it's outrageous. And this is why I have made one video already of showing you what it's like to be outdoors. Because at the end of the day, sometimes it's almost safer. If you find yourself a nice, snug place out here, where you know nobody's gonna bother you, and you can take the cold weather, you'll be okay. This is why most of the summer, in summertime, most of the homeless shelters, they can be empty, because people would rather be outside. They feel safer. In spite of having a police officer on duty and a staff that feeds you, and it's just not, you don't feel safe there. You just don't. It's absolutely horrifying, and it's sad. It's sad to see so many people living under these kinds of conditions, criminal-like conditions. And yes, some of these homeless people probably do have extensive criminal records. You know, there's certain things you ask homeless people, and there's certain things that you don't ask. So, like I said, in the shelters, you learn to keep your mouth shut, and that way you won't have no trouble. But I hope I have revealed to you what it's really like. If you don't believe me, I encourage everybody watching this video, go spend one night in a local homeless shelter, wherever it is that you live. Go spend one night, and you'll appreciate real quick what you have. So, with that said, I'm going to close this video out. I really appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, be advised, you know, there might be 1 or 2 days here I'm not going to be able to upload anything. Just be patient with me. And I'm going to take this video down now, and I'm going to try and enjoy the day, okay? It's really warm out today, so we're supposed to get some crummy weather tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and spread the word for me. Peace.